for joining me for my weekly Sunday live stream. I hope you're keeping well. Hope you're enjoying this Sunday. Hope it's beautiful where you are. It's beautiful here in Asheville, North Carolina. I want to sing a song about my friends. Sometimes I sit here in the dark, just the light of the screen. Maybe I don't get dressed, have a little more caffeine. Sometimes I stay up late, time goes by. I say what's on my mind, and I hope for a reply. I never stay away long, start missing all my friends. I post my photographs, I use my very best lens. Sometimes the comments never come, sometimes I sit and I wait. Oh, won't you please like me? Is there someone who can relate? Nobody ever writes me letters, I don't know why I have a phone. I got a couple thousand friends now, I don't feel so alone. Sometimes I drop them a line, sometimes they think of me too. They want to know if I'm okay in just a sentence or two. And I know who cooked Italian, I know who got new shoes, I know who had to pull a tranny, who's away on a cruise. I know who got that dreaded letter, I know who just switched shampoos, I know who's using smiley faces, and I know who's got the blues. I know who likes what, I know who's friends with who, I know what everybody just did, what they're planning to do. I know who's having a birthday, I know who just lost their job, I know it rained in Sarasota for a little while and then it stopped. Found a lot of old classmates, people I once knew. Everybody went their own ways, as people these days will do. Some of them got wealthy, and some are living hand to mouth. Some of them are up north still, some have settled in the south. All of my old flames got married, some they got divorced. And of the ones who have fallen, some never got back on the horse. And the ones who did have children, none of them look like me. I hope that everybody's happy, I hope that everybody's free. I know who likes what, I know who's friends with who, I know what everybody just did, what they're planning to do. I know who just lost their father, and who's decided to adopt. I know it rained in Sarasota for a little while and then it stopped. Prayers, my friend in Uganda, my friends in Israel and Iran, Nova Scotia, Ireland and Denmark, Lithuania and Japan. Well, I hope someday to meet them, their place or mine. But for now it makes me happy when I see them here online. And I know who got a puppy, I know whose rose bushes died, and the ones who own ponies, sometimes I tell them I can ride. You know, I flirted with some women, well these days how can you tell? Some of them could have been men. And then there was the time when Elvis asked what? I know who's friends with who. I know what everybody just did, what they're planning to do. I know who's fighting cancer. Sometimes I just start to sob. I know it rains in Sarasota for a little while and then it stops. I know it rains in Sarasota a little while and then it stops. I know it rains in Sarasota a little while and then it stops. Welcome, friends. Thank you very much for being with me on your Sunday afternoon, or whenever it is that you're watching this. You might be watching the replay. But welcome. I'm glad you're with me. I'm working alone today. My friend Barbie is not available, so I have put all of the information if you're interested in tipping today, which I would be very grateful for. All of that information is in the comments at the very beginning of the comments. Also, there's information on how to pick up recordings, whether they be digital downloads or CDs. And if you're interested in becoming my patron, there's information about that too. I want to sing a song that's one of my favorites that I've ever written. I have several, but among maybe my favorite handful of them, this would definitely be one of them. It's about a man by the name of Adolfo Kaminsky, who during World War II became known as the Paris Forager. Now, Adolfo was just a teenager working in the garment industry in Paris, and the partisans found out about his talents. He was extremely knowledgeable, had scientific knowledge of inks and dyes and fabrics, and he knew scientifically what it would take to make certain inks and dyes set in certain fabrics or unset them. And this was an extremely valuable skill. The partisans recruited him to forge documents and passports, and over the course of the war, he enabled tens of thousands of people to escape to freedom. And at the end of the war, he continued to help people across the globe flee repressive regimes, and kept on doing this right up until the end of right up until the end of the Vietnam War. Adolfo was able to successfully forge 30 passports in an hour's time, and he realized for every hour he might sleep, it would cost 30 people their lives, and so he never slept. He would just work until he'd pass out. His work was so secretive, he couldn't tell anybody, not even his wife or his daughter, but at the age of 89, he finally broke down and told his daughter, Sarah. And Sarah wrote a book. Sarah Kaminsky wrote a book called A Forger's Life, which I read and which inspired this song. Up on the third floor, I used to rent a room. It got no fresh air. You could get dizzy from the fumes. I'd spend the nights in there. Maybe I'd sleep a few winks. I'd clear a place somewhere between the papers and the inks. I had a printing press. It was my Tommy gun, and I dreamed I'd ambush them whenever it would run. I couldn't shoot a man, but this was what I could do. With my documents, the guards would have waved them through. I didn't know them, I never met them, but how could I turn away and just forget them? I still can picture some of their faces. They were desperate to leave for safer places. I was an artisan steady hand that didn't get the jitters. One day the partisans told me my skills were needed, 'cause there was madness on the rise that had to be defeated. I doctored names, altered their ages, I put a different place of birth upon the pages. I made them businessmen, I made them teachers, I made them someone else with all the same features. I didn't know them, I never met them, but how could I turn away and just forget them? I still can picture some of their faces. They were desperate to leave for safer places. I'd meet my handler in busy cafes. We would trade envelopes, then go our separate ways. No time for small talk, too many lives at stake, passports to reproduce. All night I'd be awake, I worked in secrecy. Nobody knew of this, not even my daughter or my wife. It was just too much risk. They said I worked too much, and I couldn't tell them why. But now I have to tell someone before I die. I didn't know them, I never met them, but how could I turn away and just forget them? I still can picture some of their faces. They were desperate to leave for safer places. I didn't know them, I never met them, but how could I turn away and just forget them? I still can picture some of their faces. Forger. So I live in the mountains of western North Carolina, and some of you have seen the videos I've posted on Facebook of the bears and the bobcats and the deer and the wild turkeys and a bunch of other critters that come by. And you might be wondering, just where the hell does this guy live? Well, I'm going to tell you, and you're welcome to stop by anytime. Here's how you find me. When you get off of the interstate, when you get off of the interstate, when you get to the end of the ramp, make a left and go basically straight. You've got to go several miles. You've got to go several miles. Might make you wonder after a while, but you've got to go several miles. Then you will go over the gap. Then you will go over the gap. You might not find it on just any old map, but you've got to go over the gap. There'll be a field of corn. There'll be a field of corn. It's at the end of that field of corn, as if the weather is warm. Now it's just past the third dead cat. Just past the third dead cat. especially flat, just past the third dead cat. Now turn right on the gravel road. Turn right on the gravel road. As soon as you see it, you're just gonna know it. Turn right on the gravel road. And if you get to the church, turn back. If you get to the church, turn back. Do a U-turn. If you get to the church, the one with the historical plaque. And now that gravel road's gonna split. That gravel road's gonna split. Keep left where the gravel road splits, so you don't go off in the ditch. And now go up and around the red shack. Go up and around the red shack. And take a look at what they got out back as you go up and around the red shack. Drive right through the pack of hounds. Drive right through the pack of hounds. They'll all get up from their lying down to play chicken with you, so don't go around. Brace yourself for the hill. Brace yourself for the hill. Take a deep breath. Summon your will. Brace yourself for the hill. Go all the way to the top. Go all the way to the top. Don't forget to breathe and put down your pop. And whatever you do, don't stop. You'll find the key on the ledge. You'll find the key on the ledge. There's wood on the porch, beer in the fridge. You'll find the key on the ledge. And it's just past the third dead cat. Just past the third dead cat. The one that looks like a welcome mat. Just past the third dead cat. Come see me sometime. I think it's time for a baseball song. This is a true story about a fella who pitched in the Philadelphia Phillies organization, among many, many, many other organizations. This man pitched for 15 different teams, changed teams 20 different times, played for teams in 5 different countries, including Korea, Mexico, and Venezuela. And this is the story of what happened to him when he finally got called up to the major leagues at the age of 31. There was orange on the radar. In some places it was red. You saw it on the TV. Well, he was still in bed. Room service brought him breakfast. Some good coffee as well. Could get used to staying at a major league hotel. And it was raining hard that morning. The whole day it would pour. And he would just stare out the window from the 27th floor. The night before at supper, some joint in Buffalo, skipper called to tell him he was going to the show. Text messages and emails were lighting up his phone from all his friends and family, from everyone he'd ever known. His folks flew in from Boston, and his wife just made her flight. They all got there the next day to see him pitch that night. And so he put his big league pants on and he tied his big league shoes, while a couple of big leaguers were giving interviews. His name was in the lineup, and he was mentioned on the news. He'd knocked around a dozen years for this. He'd even pitched in Veracruz. And so he walked out through that tunnel to stand on a big lake mound. His tears mixed with the raindrops, and he felt like he might drown. And he squeezed the big league baseball, ran his fingers along the seams. The rain was cruel and stung him as it washed away his dreams. And it was flooded in the dugout. It was a lonely place to sit. He thought of going to Korea, or maybe it was time to quit. And now next time they need a pitcher, they'll probably call up some kid. And every time thereafter, well, that's exactly what they did. Well, that tarp was never lifted, and that storm never let up. It's like he got his cup of coffee without the coffee cup. Well, they let him keep his jersey. They boxed it soaking wet. And that was as close to the majors as he would ever get. Well, now you can say that's baseball, especially if you never played. But for the guy who worked his ass off and whose dues were overpaid, well, this was all he'd ever wanted ever since the 7th grade. Congratulations were in order, but condolences were paid. No, that tarp was never lifted, and that storm never let up. It's like he got his cup of coffee without the coffee cup. Oh, I had an itch going on the entire song. Oh, and just for you, I didn't scratch it. Now I will. So I'm going to do another baseball song here. It's about a couple of very famous home run balls that sold for an awful lot of money. And in watching the baseball happen in this year in the bubble and without fans, it occurred to me that it's very unlikely something like this would happen, because up until, I guess, the World Series and the Championship Series, there hadn't been any fans whatsoever in the stands, so every home run ball was probably just picked up by stadium personnel. And what happens here in this song wouldn't have been possible. So this is called The Guy Who Came Up with the Ball. Flash bulbs were going off as the batter approached the plate. They had to replace the balls with ones they could authenticate. Well, everyone knew it was gone. One swing was all it took. The batter stood and admired it. The pitcher didn't even look. Now the guy who came up with the ball, the one on the bottom of the pile, he was missing a couple of teeth from his $1 million smile. He was sporting 2 black eyes. He was missing most of an ear. His shirt was torn and tattered, and his hair was soaked with beer. Going, gone. It ought to make a nice souvenir. We can kiss that baby goodbye. That ball is out of here. Security let him away. They pretty well saved his skin. There was a doctor in the house, put some stitches in his chin. Well, now the ball would pass the test under ultraviolet light. There was the asterisk. That was the ball, all right. Now the guy who came up with the ball, he was famous for 3 or 4 days. Everyone wanted a piece of him. Everyone knew his face. Well, Letterman wanted him on. So did Oprah and Conan O'Brien. The White House receptionist phoned to say that the president was on the line. Going, gone. It ought to make a nice souvenir. You can kiss that baby goodbye. That ball is out of here. The guy who came up with the ball, he heard from the IRS. They wanted their $500,000, not 1 penny less. Going once, going twice. Sold, said the auctioneer. But who can really say what it's worth, except maybe the price of an ear? Now the guy who acquired the ball, he could not tell you which was which, a fastball or a changeup. No, he was just filthy rich. His boy took it to school. His boy won show and tell. But the son of the guy who came up with the ball wished his dad didn't have to sell. Going, gone. It should have made a nice souvenir. You can kiss that baby goodbye. That ball is out of here. Going, gone. Ought to make a nice souvenir. You can kiss that baby goodbye. That ball is out of here.
So in case you tuned in a little bit late today, there's no ticket price as always, but I'm relying on everybody that's able to tip whatever you can. This is my sole means of making a living these days, so I'll be grateful for anything that you can possibly contribute. Also, there is information at the very beginning of the comment section that I dropped in, some URLs if you are interested in tipping, or if you're interested in picking up some of my recordings, or if you're interested in becoming a patron. You can look into that at patreon.com. I want to sing one of my older songs. This one is from CD I made years ago called Radio. I was looking at my local newspaper here in Asheville, the Asheville Citizen-Times, and there was a photograph of some kind of a political rally. Don't remember all these years later what the rally was for, but I still have that photograph. I clipped it out of the paper because it had somebody wearing one of those sandwich board signs with a front side and the back side, and the front side of it said, "Thank God for AIDS." I was awfully glad I couldn't see what was on the back side.
We worship our gods and we buy souvenirs, admire our trinkets in front of our mirrors. A hat with a cross, a shirt with a star, the names of our teams tattooed on our arms. We're given our gods at the moment of birth, the gods of our fathers and all others be cursed. At the earliest age, we memorize verse, the gospel as it is written. We swear at our gods, we curse our rotten luck from the side of the road when we self-destruct. We ask them to save us and to get us unstuck from the muck we get ourselves into. Temples of stained glass and hand-cut stone, we built for our gods such magnificent homes. We visit sometimes, but we don't stay long, not when the football games are on. Make deals with our gods to win back what we've lost, but in our pants pockets our fingers are crossed. Lord, give us this day, make these prosperous times, and help us to cover our crimes. We go to the seers, we say, show us the script that our gods have left for us, stashed in some crypt. Oh, secrets, they say, what has never been told, yours for a pile of your gold. We kill for our gods, we wage holy wars, assassinate presidents and burn down bookstores. We massacre children to settle old scores, yelling, our gods are great. And so our gods must be proud of the blood on our hands and the way we go conquering far, far away lands. In the names of our gods, well, let the glory be theirs. Just let the spoils and the plunders be ours. We serve our gods in such humorless ways. Rituals we do, laws we obey. And sometimes in between we pray. But how often do we say, I love you? I love you.
And I do. Let's see here. Here's a new song.
You think you know, they aren't really so, but you insist they're true. A lot of people do, but it would shock you if you knew. You'd be angry too, but that takes letting go of the things you think you know. The things you think you know, you believe them even though they can be disproved. You're not even moved. not how you believe. You can't even conceive of that first domino of the things you think you know. Well, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do, you go on and blow till you couldn't blow. I'll tell you even though there's no convincing you, but that's what you don't know. The things you think you do, yeah, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do. The things you think you know were like that long ago, but not so much today. You really have to go back a ways until there wasn't any gray, and you only had to hope and pray and maintain the status quo. The things you think you know. The things you think you know. Excuse me, but hello, who's telling you these things? And who's pulling the strings? But who knows more than you? None of the experts do. Well, anyway, there you go. The things you think you know. That's what you don't know. The things you think you do. When you go on and blow till you couldn't blow. I'll tell you even though there's no convincing you, but that's what you don't know. The things you think you do, yeah, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do. The things you think you know. That warm and cozy glow is mostly good for show. Gives you comfort though. You keep stoking the fire to get it going higher. You won't let it lie low. Those things you think you know. Well, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do. You go on and blow till you couldn't blow. I'll tell you even though there's no convincing you, but that's what you don't know. The thing you do, yeah, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do.
So here's another older song. This one is from a CD called Subtotal Eclipse. Just get this in tune here. One note's still out. Hang on. I know some of you can't tell, but I can tell. And for anyone else who can tell, it's maddening when there's a string out of tune. Especially when you can fix it. Here we go. Just have to remember how this starts. Yes.
Once knew it, one day was obsolete. The hair had gone out of fashion, and they danced to a different beat. And you stubbornly resisted, determined not to bend. once knew it, at a much less hectic pace. People used to meet in public, they'd sit face to face. But now we type an instant message and we stare into a screen. The world as you once knew it, been replaced by a machine. Once knew it, you can read about in books, visit the museums, walk around and take a look at the relics and the fossils and the trinkets in the stores. The world as you once knew it, come and see the dinosaurs. The world as you once knew it, a real good price. The bidding done in secret, and some souls were traded twice. And now, blessed are the greedy, and cursed are the poor. The world as you once knew it, well, she's just another whore. The world as you once knew it, spun out of control. It was gravity that did it. It was the lord of all that gold. Now there's nothing like nostalgia to make you feel bereft of the world as you once knew it. But it's all that you've got left. Now the world as you once knew it, you once had a home. Sometimes you think you see it, wherever you may roam. The faces and the places, they form one big collage. But the world as you once knew it, it's only a mirage. Now the world as you once knew it, you can hear it when she talks, and it's in the way she looks at you, and it's in the way she talks. So pity the poor wretched soul who cannot recognize the world as he once knew it when he sees it in her eyes.
So once again, I just want to point out the URLs are at the very beginning of the chat window, or the comment section, I should say. Also want to mention, like I do every week, that I'm available for private concerts over Zoom, and you can have up to 100 people at a time, 100 different households at a time if you want. And I've done several of these, and they're a lot of fun. I open up the meetings half an hour early so everybody can visit with one another. And at the end of the performance, I let everybody hang out for as long as they want to, and I stick around and we have a little bit of a meet and greet or question and answer session. So if you're interested in something like that, it can be for a birthday party, can be just for evening entertainment, you and your friends and family, feel free to contact me. So what's next on the list? Do another baseball song. This is another new one. This is about the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League that played in the 1940s and 1950s, and during World War II when the men were overseas, they were playing quite a high level of baseball, and it was very popular in a lot of places. This is called The Country Needed Baseball.
baseball. The boys were overseas, fighting with the Germans and the Japanese. Just beyond the outfield, the flag blew in the breeze. The girls were wearing blouses with their skirts above the knees. The country needed baseball, and the girls were really good. The sounds were therapeutic of the cowhide meeting wood. They hustled and got dirty, skinned their elbows and their knees. And for a couple precious hours, people's minds could be at ease. The country needed baseball like you need a cigarette. When you've gone too long without one, but you still can't have one yet. And your loved ones in the trenches with a gun and bayonet, but you're stuck there waiting tables at the corner luncheonette. Country needed baseball to give itself a lift. Not every patriotic woman had to fill a factory shift. Some could throw a curveball, others could hit strikes. Some would run you over, or they'd cut you with their spikes. Country needed baseball on Sunday afternoons. Stadiums would fill up, there'd be banners and balloons. There was Cracker Jack and peanuts, hot dogs, beer and Coke. Just like when the boys played, it all tastes like cigar smoke. The country needed baseball. Country needed baseball. Country needed baseball. Country needed baseball.
Well, want to sing you another one of the songs that I would say is among my personal handful of favorites. It's a song I wrote about a fella I met up in Nova Scotia at a folk festival there, the Stan Rogers Folk Festival, just held in a little community of about 700 or 800 people called Canso, Nova Scotia, and it is at the end of the earth. It literally is the furthest easternmost point in the entire mainland of North America. And this fantastic festival happens there every year. And about, at this point it's probably been about 12 years or so, there was a fella standing out in the middle of the audience while I was performing, and he was blowing kisses at me. And I just thought, because what else can you think, right? And it turns out, which I didn't discover for a little while after, that this fella had Down syndrome. Now, the stage lights were very bright in my eyes, and I couldn't really see people's features until it occurred to me to shield my eyes, and then people's features came into focus, and that's when I could tell. So from that point on, I started to blow kisses back to him, and this became something very magical for the entire 40 minutes of my set on stage. And I knew I was going to write this song as soon as I got home, which I did. And when I sent it to the people that run the festival, they decided to bring me right back the next year so the community could hear the song. Because the fella who the song is about was one of the most beloved people in their entire community. His name was Arthur Christie. At the time, he was 75 years old. He lived another 10 years to the age of 85. And in those 10 years, after I wrote that song, every time I was back at the festival, Arthur needed no invitation to jump up on stage with me. He just would come up and do it, and he'd sing along, woo, woo, woos, while I sang the song. But that very next year, after I wrote the song, when they first brought me back to sing it, they secretly arranged with the home Arthur lived in to have him brought back to the festival. And I didn't know this until I launched into this song and I got a few verses in. And all of a sudden the audience was kind of going nuts and all looking off to my left. And when I turned my head, I saw they had brought Arthur out onto the stage to blow kisses at the audience while I sang this song. So I had a very long guitar cable. I was able to leave the microphone. I kept the guitar part going. I wandered over to where Arthur was, and we had a bit of a greeting and a headbutt, and wandered back to the mic and finished the song. All the while, a television crew was filming this from Halifax, and Monday morning on the Breakfast News television show, they aired this, and somebody watching was nice enough to record it. They had been to the festival over the weekend, was there when this was happening. So they sent it to me, and I was able to put it up on YouTube. And if you're interested, you can just do a search on YouTube for Chuck Brodsky and the Man Who Blew Kisses.
Well, the man who blew kisses stood out in the crowd. He wasn't so tall, he wasn't loud. I could not tell you how he was dressed, but of everyone there, I remember him best. The man who blew kisses was simple and free. He never considered how people might see him. He walked on the water, swam through the air, with no trepidation and without a care. The man who blew kisses, he lives in a home. He isn't allowed to go out on his own, but wherever they take him, he's happy to go. He loves everybody and he lets them all know. He blew them at me, tickled my heart, and I buckled my knee, made my voice crack, and it righted all wrongs. I blew kisses back at the end of the songs. So the man who blew kisses in front of the stage knew nothing of jealousy and nothing of rage, nothing of prejudice, nothing of shame. He had never been broken, he had never been tamed. The man who blew kisses, he misses some things, but he was catching my drift, he had air in his wings. His head was a-rockin', he was clapping his hands, he was stomping his feet, and he was doing the dance. So the man who blew kisses, he'll blow them at you. He blows them at anyone, no matter who. So I thought to myself, in the middle of all this, that the song I was singing, it was but a kiss.
I have a couple of songs left for you, but first I want to do a little magic trick. Abracadabra, hocus pocus, 1, 2, 3. How do you like that? Pretty slick. So,
I collected my prize. I took first place. The poor runner-up, sad look on her face. Didn't drink the champagne, left my ribbon there too. Okay, so I won. What good did it do? Okay, so I won. But what good did it do? I stood with conviction. I put up a fight for the truth as I saw it, for peace, love, and light. I fought off the darkness for the first round or two. I got my licks in, but what good did it do? I got my licks in, what good did it do? And in the end I was right. On further review, all those things I was saying proved to be true. I got an admission, an apology too. In the end I was right. What good did it do? In the end I was right. What good did it do? Try to live by my morals. I spoke my mind. Some friends got offended. One or two, they resigned. I was just being honest. They already knew. I just tried to remind them. But what good did it do? I tried to remind them. What good did it do? And I could hold a grudge. I could probably hold two. If I didn't learn to budge, could end up holding quite a few. Didn't like being angry. It's not enough being right. Rather be happy. That's a hard enough fight. I'd rather be happy with all of my might than to sit here and stew. What good would it do to sit here and stew? What good would it do? I'd rather be happy, happy with you.
So thank you all very much for watching this week. Appreciate you being with me. Hope you have a really nice rest of your Sunday. And once again, all of the information for tipping is at the very front of the comments section, the very, very beginning. And there's also information on how to pick up CDs if you're interested, or digital downloads of my music, which are on a pay whatever you want basis. And if you're interested in becoming my patron on patreon.com, that would be wonderful. So there's information there for that. Hope y'all stay safe and healthy and well, and hope you'll tune in next week. I'll leave you with this. Sing this for my mom.
Well, I hope I see you later, 'cause it's time for me to go. That's my ride that just pulled over, and it sure was good to know you. So go answer your calling, go and fill somebody's cup. If you see an angel falling, why don't you stop and help them up? We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. We keep each other going, and we show each other signs. Sometimes you stumble, sometimes you'll just lie down, sometimes you will get lonely with all these people around. You might shiver when the wind blows, and you might get blown away. You might lose a little color, you might lose a little faith. We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. We keep each other going, and we show each other signs. So thank you for the water. Thought I was gonna die out here in the desert, but you quenched my thirst. Let's break a little bread together, got a little manna. It was a gift from someone who was passing by and offered me a lift. We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. We keep each other going, and we show each other signs.
Bye and thank you.